Democrats are also trying to push through multiple bills, including gun control, election reform, and as you heard Congressman Jordan say there, packing the Supreme Court. Joining me to discuss is President of Judicial Watch, Tom Fittonn. Tom, it's so great to be with you. I haven't talked to you in a little while.
Hey, Heather, good to be with you again. Thank you.
So what's going on? What are Democrats up to with all of this radical agenda that they're trying to push through?
Well, they're attacking or reforming the structures of government to further their power. And as a political matter, you know, that's what political parties do in some respects. But this would be a radical change to the structure of government and only done with, frankly, no majority in the Senate. They don't have the majority of senators. It's 50-50. So the idea that you would pack the Senate, pack the Supreme Court by not only you'd have to, to get that done, change the rules of the Senate by eliminating the filibuster to allow the bare majority, 50+1, Kamala Harris, the vice president who presides over the Senate, to push these bills forward. And the problem is, in theory, they can do it legally in terms of packing the Supreme Court. Congress can change the number of justices on the court, but Congress can't undo our nation's capital through just by granting it statehood. It's an attack on our nation's capital. The Constitution prohibits Congress from messing with the nation's capital, I would interpret it. You know, and they're talking about narrowing the federal district to just a few square blocks, more or less. But under our constitutional system, under the Constitution, those few square blocks would have 3 electoral college votes in the Electoral College in the fight for the presidency. I mean, that shows you the absurdity and the unconstitutional nature of what they're trying to do. And I'd just like to know what other mid-sized cities are going to become states under this theory of the law that states deserve, or cities deserve, in the case of the District of Columbia, to have their own senators and congressmen in Congress. It's just absurd.
Well, Senator Ted Cruz also, he agrees with you, by the way, and he called out the Democrats for passing this bill to make D.C. a state. Let's listen to this.
You didn't see Republicans, when we had control of the Senate, try to rig the game. You didn't see us try to pack the court.
Here's the thing, Tom. If they know that under the Constitution they can't do these types of things, what are they really up to then? Why are they even talking about these measures? Is there an end goal?
There's an extremist wing in the Democratic Party that doesn't care about the normal structures of government, doesn't care about our constitutional republic. They talk as if they want to overthrow it. They don't believe in the founding principles of the United States. They think they're corrupt. So all bets are off. Packing the Supreme Court, they don't care as long as they get a short-term political power gain from it. And on top of that, the District of Columbia is just the beginning. They're thinking about Puerto Rico as turning Puerto Rico into a state. That would be 4 Democratic senators, which would change again and pack the Senate. So the question is, are the traditional norms going to take place? Are they going to hold in our republic here? Because I think the republic's under attack from these far left proposals. And it used to be people like Joe Biden and others opposed this extremism, but for whatever reason, I don't know if he's paying even attention to it, Joe Biden has signed on to it.
Yeah, and perhaps that's the question. Is there someone else pulling the strings behind the scenes that's really after this entire, radical left-wing agenda? Here's what Senator, I believe, let's go back to what Senator Lindsey Graham had to say and pull up this sound talking about this radical agenda. Listen.
The road to anarchy is being paved with this agenda. The destruction of the systems that have kept us a free people are at risk.
So again, agreeing with what you have to say, but what can be done about it? What is Judicial Watch doing? What are you doing?
Well, in the District of Columbia, changing it into a state, that's going to be subject to challenge if that goes through in the Senate. The Supreme Court, that's a political issue. People have to call their senators and let them know what they think about the efforts to pack the court. On top of that, other strategies by the left to undo through H.R. 1 or Senate Bill 1, which would effectively eliminate any strict voter ID requirements, make it more difficult to make sure the rolls are clean, and essentially implement an agenda that made the 2020 controversies or the changes behind the 2020 election basically make them the law of the land and federalize our elections in many ways. Some of that may be subject to constitutional challenge. So some of this is going to be having to go to court to fight it. Others, it's just going to be a political battle. And the concern is what the left is doing is they're making it impossible for their opposition to operate in a free society. And it's not even just the structural changes here, but the criminalization of their opposition by suggesting if you question the elections, if you have any questions about D.C. statehood, you're an extremist and therefore be subject to investigation. This is a dangerous time we're in.
Not only saying that you're an extremist, but with just about anything, they include elements in all of their agenda and what they're proposing so that if you oppose it, you're also deemed a racist.
Right.
Let's listen to this Congressman Mondaire Jones and what he had to say about D.C. statehood.
One Senate Republican said that D.C. wouldn't be a, quote, well-rounded working class state. I had no idea there were so many syllables in the word white. One of my House Republican colleagues said that D.C. shouldn't be a state because the district doesn't have a landfill. My goodness, with all the racist trash my colleagues have brought to this debate, I can see why they're worried about having a place to put it.
How do you even answer that, Tom?
It's disgusting. And that's where the left is these days. If you oppose their agenda, they smear you as being beneath contempt and evil. This is something that shouldn't be tolerated in the House, and I don't understand why a member of the House would suggest that raising constitutional concerns and practical concerns about making the District of Columbia a state in a way that obviously benefits them politically turns you into a racist. They know that's not true, and to say otherwise it's about as bad as it gets in terms of the modern day political debates we're having.
Yeah, I do want to ask you one more question, but we're almost out of time. You've subpoenaed, or you're going to, Adam Schiff?
We're fighting in court against him to try to get his access to the illicit subpoenas he issued to get the phone records of Rudy Giuliani, and then he published them. He's taking the position everything he did shouldn't be subject to any court scrutiny or any public disclosure. They want to be able to take your phone records secretly and not give you any opportunity to object or figure out what's going on. This is a surveillance power that no other agency of the government has, that Schiff and Pelosi are right now defending in court against Judicial Watch. Talk about a constitutional crisis.
Yeah, I mean, why do you think people don't pay attention to some of these things that are happening? Do you think it's because they happen in such small increments that they hope that all of a sudden it'll be upon us and we didn't even realize that it was happening?
Because the initial target was Donald Trump. And the left doesn't care about violating civil rights of their opponents. This is what's so concerning about these debates. They don't believe their opponents should have the same rights they have to participate in the debates and to have the same rights they have under the Constitution. They don't believe in those constitutional rights for their political opposition. And we should all be concerned, because every American could be subject to this unlimited, unbridled surveillance power by the likes of Adam Schiff and Nancy Pelosi.
That's what I wanted to ask you. I mean, to people sitting at home that are watching right now, we're not just talking about this happening to someone like the 45th president, Donald Trump, or someone like Rudy Giuliani. This could happen to all of us.
Let's say they wanted to investigate the phone records of people that they think are troublemakers and were likely to support questions about the election, which is their theory of the January 6th case, where everyone who supported it, questions about the election are violent. Well, that's an excuse to get everyone's phone records then. This is something that the Congress admits in court arguments that there's really no oversight available to the courts to check this.
Well, we have the oversight from you, Tom, and from Judicial Watch, and we certainly always appreciate it. Thank you very much for joining us.
You're welcome.